Hello, my name is Rosie May and this is my assignment 1 for nutrition. My presentation will be on digestion and nutrition. So first of all, we have the 7 nutrients: carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, water, minerals, fibre and protein. In the next couple of slides, I'll be explaining each of their roles, functions and giving examples of each. So first we have carbohydrates, which take up to 50 to 60% of the individual's diet. 1 gram of carbs is equal to 4 kilocalories. The main role of carbohydrates is to provide the body with energy. A carbohydrate is what's known as a macronutrient. This means that you need to digest a lot of carbohydrates in order for them to give that energy you need. This is why they suggest we need about 50 to 60%. Examples are potatoes and bread. There are 3 different types of carbohydrates: monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. Monosaccharide is what we call a simple sugar, and so is a disaccharide. This means that they are really easy to break down because they either have no bonds or just one. Whereas a polysaccharide carbohydrate is a complex carbohydrate. This means that they are really difficult to break down because they have 10 or more bonds. So monosaccharide and disaccharide are simple carbohydrates, for example jam, honey, fruit juice, sugar and fudge. And polysaccharide carbohydrates are complex carbs, for example bread, rice, pasta and crackers. The process that a carbohydrate goes through is that it is digested by the mouth and broken down by the saliva. The processed food turns into glucose, which gets absorbed in the bloodstream. The bloodstream stores the glucose as glycogen. 25% is stored in the liver and the other 75% in the muscles. Excess glycogen is stored as fat, and the 25% stored in the liver can return to the bloodstream, but the 75% stored in the muscles are used for muscle contractions. Next we have fats. Fats are key for brain development. Also, fats protect vital organs in your body from injury. They help thermoregulation, structural material for cells. They store fat-soluble vitamins. They grow and repair and supply essential fatty acids. 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 kilocalories. There are 2 types of fats, unsaturated and saturated, and there are 2 types of unsaturated fats. You have polyunsaturated and monounsaturated. There should be 11% of saturated fats, 6.5% of polyunsaturated fats, and 13% of monounsaturated fats. Polyunsaturated and monounsaturated are higher in antitoxins. They increase good cholesterol, they spoil quickly and decrease bad cholesterol, whereas saturated fats are really bad for you because they increase bad cholesterol, they are long-lasting, and also eating too many of them could possibly lead to association with heart disease. Examples of saturated fats are butter, cream, fatty meat, coconut oil and chocolate. Monounsaturated examples are olive oil, peanut butter, peanut oil and corn oil. And examples of polyunsaturated fats are oily fish, sunflower oil, nuts and soya oil. Protein is key for growth and repair, and it can be used as a secondary energy source. 1 g of protein is equal to 9 to 4 kilocalories, and we need about 15% in our protein diet. Other than growth and repair though, protein builds new cells within the body. They are the building blocks of bones, muscles, skin, blood and even cartilage. The UK dietary guidelines suggest that we need about 15% of protein in our daily intake. However, sports athletes should intake about 25% because of the constant energy supply they need. Next, amino acids. They make up protein. There are 20 of them in the body and we need to use every single one of them. But 8 are called essential amino acids and 12 are called non-essential amino acids. There are 2 types of proteins. You have complete proteins and incomplete proteins. The 8 essential amino acids cannot be produced itself in the body and they are key for growth and repair. And the 12 amino acids, which are non-essential, are only able to be produced if all 8 essential amino acids are present. If carbs and fats are limited, protein can be used as a secondary energy source, but takes the body a lot of steps to convert protein into carbs and fats. Complete proteins are proteins that contain all 8 of the essential amino acids. They normally stem from animal-based foods, such as meat, fish, and eggs. Incomplete proteins do not contain all 8 of the essential amino acids, for example, pasta and rice. Vegetarian athletes or vegans need to be extremely careful because they need to make sure they're eating all 8 of the essential acids. Next is vitamins. So you have fat soluble and water soluble. Without some vitamins, you can cause deficiency. Water soluble vitamins are excreted through the urine, and fat soluble vitamins are stored in the body and in the fat tissue. So vitamin A is a fat soluble vitamin, and its function is healthy skin, but it can cause dry, rough skin if you don't have enough of it. The recommended daily intake is about 0.7 milligrams, and you can find them in carrots. Vitamin B is a water-soluble vitamin, and it's key for energy production, but it can also cause muscle cramps if you don't have enough of it. The recommended daily intake is about 40 milligrams, and you get these in milk. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, and it is part of the immune system, but it can cause scurvy, which leads to bleeding gums if you don't have enough of it. The recommended daily intake is 1 milligram, and it is in oranges. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and it strengthens bones and helps muscle contraction, but without it you can get weak bones. An example is the sun, liver, and egg yolk. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin also, and it protects cell walls, but without it you can get nerve abnormalities. The recommended daily intake is 4 milligrams, and it is found in nuts and seeds. Vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin, and it assists in blood clotting, but without it you can get defective blood clotting. The recommended daily intake is 0.01 milligrams per kg of the body weight of the individual, and you can find this in cabbages. Next you have minerals. So you have 2 types. You have macro minerals, you have trace minerals. A mineral is a nutrient without any calories. These are essential for the body to function. Minerals are needed in small quantities. So a macro mineral is needed in a big amount, so they provide the body with the right amount of nutrients. An example would be calcium. A trace mineral is needed in very small amounts, so we don't get too much of it. An example is copper. Minerals have their own individual roles in the body, so some can control muscle contractions, some form bones and enzymes, and some even compete against one another for absorption. Those minerals include iron and copper. So the mineral zinc is a trace mineral, and it assists in sea carbon dioxide transport, but without it you can get reduced respiration. The recommended daily intake is 12 to 20 milligrams, and it can be found in cheese. Calcium is a macro mineral, and it helps with muscle contraction and bone formation, so without it, the loss of muscle contraction, and it can cause weak bones also. The recommended daily intake is 1200 milligrams, and it can be found in milk. Potassium is a macro mineral, and it's key for nerve impulses, and it can reduce coordination. The recommended daily intake is 1 gram, and it can be found in bananas. Sodium is also a macro mineral, and it helps with water balance, but without it helping with water balance, it can cause dehydration. This is very important for marathon runners. They need to be able to intake as much sodium as they need so they don't get dehydrated whilst running longer than 90 minutes. The recommended daily intake is 5 to 10 milligrams, and it can be found in table salt. Magnesium is a trace mineral, and it helps with reproductive functions, so without it you can get failure in the reproductive system. Recommended daily intake is 5 milligrams, and it can be found in peanuts. Iron is a trace mineral, and it forms hemoglobin, so without it you can get anemia, which is where you get really pale white skin, and the recommended daily intake is 18 milligrams, and these can be found in liver and eggs. Next we have fibre. Fibre is known as a complex carbohydrate and a non-starch polysaccharide. You need about 18 grams per day. The role of fibre is to provide a bulk in your diet and resist digestion. This helps the body to move through the digestive system, allowing it to break down. So there are two types. You have insoluble and soluble. A soluble fibre is a fibre which aids the control of cholesterol and blood glucose. However, insoluble fibre is a fibre which is believed to help prevent bowel disorders. So examples of insoluble is cereals, whole wheat bread, lentils, apples, strawberries and avocado. And examples of soluble fibres are barley, beans, oats, sweet potatoes, figs and even prunes. Next is water. An average person needs to be drinking 6 to 8 cups of water a day. This helps the body in a numerous of ways. So the role of water is to transport nutrients around the body, regulates the body's temperature and helps aid the passageway for food through the digestive system. Around 50 to 60% of water makes up our body. We get water from our drink, which is about 1200 ml a day. We get it from our food, which is about 1000 ml a day, and we even get it from our metabolism, so it's 350 ml a day. This is because our metabolism is a byproduct of the aerobic energy system. So I'm going to play this game. First we have the anus, which is here. Anus is where the feces are excreted out of the body. Pancreas is here. The pancreas produces digestive enzymes, and the gallbladder is this little one here, where bile is stored. The large intestine is this one here, where water is reabsorbed and feces are stored, then moved into the rectum. The esophagus is this long tube here. It is a transportation tunnel which helps move the food we want to digest into either the stomach or liver, etc. Peristalsis occurs in the esophagus, which means the food is being squeezed down. The liver is this one here. It produces bile and sends it to the gallbladder. The liver also helps get rid of all the toxins out of your body, for example, when you drink alcohol or take drugs. The rectum is here, where feces is stored. This is the small intestine where chymes mix with digestive enzymes such as protease and lipase enzymes and is mixed with bile. Also, this is where carbs and protein and fats are broken down. Villi are found in the lining of the small intestines here as well. The duodenum is here. It's where the food, it's the link between the small intestines and the stomach. The mouth is here. The buccal cavity, also known as the mouth, is where the food enters the body. In the buccal cavity there is saliva. In the saliva there is an enzyme called amylase which helps break down the food that you digest. And the stomach is here, which is full of hydrochloric acid, which helps break down the food that enters the stomach into smaller pieces so it is able to enter the intestines. The food which enters the stomach is being churned and turns into a liquid called chyme, so the stomach is useful for digestion and it also helps kill bacteria. So digestion is a staged process of how we break down food. Food can be mechanically digested in the mouth and chemically digested in the stomach. The role of digestion is to use enzymes in different parts of the body to break down food into smaller molecules.